Well, Finance Minister Enoch Godongwane is set to deliver his 2024 budget speech in Parliament on Wednesday, the 21st of February in Cape Town. President Cyril Ramaphosa delivered his SONA for 2024 last Thursday. And the budget speech aims, among others, to balance economic growth as well as support for the vulnerable in our society despite limited resources. Well, let's get some more analysis now with Political Economist, Mr. Lumkile Mondi. Lumkile, thank you so much for your time. Welcome to The Full View. Look, any predictions, judging from the recently tabled SONA, as to what South Africans can actually brace themselves for in the upcoming budget speech this week?
Good evening and thanks for the invitation. South Africa is facing a binding fiscal constraint because of more than 2 decades of economic stagnation. And more importantly also, that the high levels of indebtedness by the Southern government has exceeded growth for the past 2 decades. More importantly, there's more money being made now through interest rates because South African interest rates exceed the growth rate. Therefore, South Africans are having a very hard life within a period whereby government finances are very fragile. So the state has to get money somewhere. If it's not getting it from the economy, it's got to get it somewhere. So we're expecting that there may be pressures on the state to increase maybe VAT if there's space to do that, but money has been somewhere. So I'm expecting some tax hike. I don't know where, because both at the wealth level, I think we may collect less if we increase at the wealth at the highest earning people. But this is a dilemma that Mr. Godongwane is facing on Wednesday.
And speaking of money that needs to be salvaged somewhere, I mean, with the recent reports, Mr. Lumkile, of certain municipalities that were actually underspending on their grant funding that could have assisted with the pressing service delivery issues, do you think this could have an impact on the allocation of such funds?
I don't think so. I think government, even though we're highly indebted, I think if you look at how our debt is structured, we still find ourselves that many of our debt is long maturity, so not under pressure to pay now. And also they're being held by many of our banks who are highly capitalized, and also our central bank is very, very credible. So therefore, what we need to be thinking about is really to see whether we can wade through this difficulty and hope that our fortunes will change. But our fortunes will be changed by municipalities being also fiscally disciplined, in the sense that those grants which will be coming on Wednesday, they are used, but they're used effectively to change the infrastructure conditions at local level, which have deteriorated considerably in the past 10 years.
And then this budget speech is also said to be an opportunity to address South Africa's credit rating situation. Is this a possibility in your view, Lumkile?
There's a possibility, because remember that the way we budget over 3 years. So the signaling of where our finances are going in the next 3 years were tabled around November in the medium-term expenditure framework. So many of the credit rating agencies base their views on that framework. I think the credit rating agencies are very much aware that South Africa may overshoot its budget deficit because of poor economic growth, but at the same time, it needs to spend to get the economy going forward. So I'm not expecting that there'll be huge disappointment, despite the fact that the budget itself is going to have nothing to offer, given the indebtedness of our government, but also the small opportunity to maneuver to do larger things which could stay us forward as an economy.
I wish we had more time for this discussion. Thank you so much. That is Mr. Lumkile Mondi, the political economist, with a look ahead of the budget speech on Wednesday, the 21st of February.